turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know. Maybe the Illuminati are behind this game. They must be, as they are by definition, behind everything. That's Matt behind the camera. I'm Ben. This is stuff they don't want you to know. And today I would like to introduce you to Jeremy Hambly, the mastermind, sir, behind the fastest growing Magic the Gathering channel on YouTube. Jeremy, thank you for coming on the show here.
Yeah, really glad to be here. Big fan.
Now, before we go on about the idea of a conspiratorial angle to gaming, what we do need to make clear is that the cards we're about to show you come from this box that we have not tampered with. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, and we know that because on Jeremy's channel, we have an unboxing video just for this episode where you can see Jeremy open this up, check out the cards, explain a little bit about what comes in the box, how the game works, and why, a little bit of why, people think there might be more to the story behind the Illuminati game, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So what's the gist of this whole theory?
Well, I think there's certain cards that are iconic of the game. For example, the World Trade Tower, 9/11. Some people think that the card's predicted, or like the Pentagon card is one often named for possibly foreshadowing the attack on the Pentagon. There's a whole bunch of cards like this, but
right, yeah.
I mean, the game is really built on conspiracy theory, so it lends itself to that, but there are also certain cards that are almost a little too close to home.
Yeah, and this is something that a lot of you guys are probably already familiar with. We've seen it on forums before, right? Where someone says, okay, there's this picture of a terrorist attack, right? Or a nuclear incident, or as we just saw, the Pentagon, which shows the Pentagon burning, while an ambiguously, perhaps suspiciously calm military officer is in the foreground. So the theory that these cards somehow predict future events makes us immediately kind of latch on to this and say coincidence or conspiracy, right?
Yeah.
And in my opinion, from reading this stuff over, I'm gonna go with coincidence, just because there's some of the timing doesn't work, and I think that it's fairly obvious when you check out this game that it's satirical, right?
Yeah, and when you think about Steve Jackson, the guy that created it, some of the other games he's done, like Munchkin, it's if he was a prominent Illuminati expert or a conspiracy theorist himself, it might be even more damning. The thing with conspiracies, I think, especially with these cards, is they're so pliable that we can bend them a little bit to whatever we see fit. There's a clock tower attack that people thought was going to happen at the Olympics last couple of years. So every year that it hasn't happened, they just say, well, it's going to happen next year.
It's going to happen next year.
Yeah. Right. So what happened is they solved it. Some super force came in and stopped the Illuminati from doing it. So, maybe they did. I don't know. Who are we to say?
Right.
But these things tend to live on then, right? It only takes one out of 200 cards in the deck.
That's true.
To support it forever.
Now you can find extensive lists of the cards. They're around, I don't know, between 8 and 12 that people routinely say might have some sort of predictive or foreshadowing nature. One common error that a lot of people make when they're talking about this game is that they don't realize this game has had multiple releases and expansion packs. So this can fool people a little bit. The idea of the terrorist attacking thing equating to 9/11 is a little bit strange because there was the earlier 1993 attack, right?
Trade Center.
Yeah, and the release that came out in 95 is the one that mentioned this. So in that case, it may have been inspired by that event, but it was not necessarily predicting it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a bunch that's how I feel about a lot of them, but there's always something to it where you're kind of, you never know, right? Some of them, there's a grain of truth, and if you watch a lot of the videos on your channel, you presented a lot of information that there's always, nobody's like refuted it enough to the point where I can just dismiss it.
Well, there are, as we know, there are things that have turned out to be, unfortunately, quite true. The idea that there were certain factions of intelligence agencies or rogue assets doing some fairly illegal things, by which I mean very illegal things in South America and things like that. There's fairly salient truth that there might be a little more to the story of one of these cards, South American Nazis. We do know that various rat lines did help Nazi agents escape. Now, how does this game work if you and I are actually playing it?
Well, I think the win condition really is to control everything. And so there's an in-game currency, and that's here. You know, the more money you build, the more influence you can buy, just like the real world. Yeah. So the idea is to get money, buy influence, and then control or complete your goal in the Illuminati card. So you have an Illuminati card. Some of the cards have goals to them, and some of them are actions. So for example, +4 on any attempt to control weird groups, immune to any attacks. So you can use these to control groups if, let's say, money isn't enough power. You have more ways to complete goals or mess with your opponent. So you play up to like 6 other people, and you're all competing for the same goal, but there's different ways you can get there.
And you're always going to be, as a player, you're always going to be a specific facet of some sort of secret organization.
That's
right?
Yes.
So
yes.
Bavarian Illuminati is one. That's we have a 3-part series on that by Adam Weishaupt. And let's see, we've got a couple others. Of course, The Network. The Gnomes of Zurich, which we have not done an episode on. Servants of Cthulhu, one of my favorites. Probably some of you guys out there, it's one of your favorites too. I do have to say, however, we do know that there are various secret societies. The Illuminati was a real thing, at least in Bavaria for a time, right?
Yeah.
And you and I were talking earlier about the awkward moment where you get caught in a secret handshake. And you know it's a secret handshake, which has really happened to both of us. So, as always, what do you do in that situation? You know, do you try to?
Well, I try to be cool. You know,
you got to be cool.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that we see a lot of on your channel is talking about new iterations or new sets of Magic cards coming out. And what's interesting is that a lot of conspiratorial theories, or even just the idea of spoilers and rumors in general in pop culture, dwell on this ability to predict what will be coming next. So I have to ask you, for our Magic the Gathering fans in the audience, Jeremy, where's Magic the Gathering going? What's next? Do you know?
Well, there happens to be a new set coming out in June called Conspiracy, which had a great marketing campaign where they put out a puzzle for the community to solve. They solve the puzzle, they get the card. So now we know what certain cards might be. And within the Magic community, it's growing. It's a huge game. The digital side of it will make it easier for more people to play, more sets to come out. And the closest thing to conspiracy in the Magic game right now is probably the finance side of it. Secret groups of people, not so secret. They know who they are. And if you're a Magic fan, you know, buying up large quantities of well-known cards, and they manufacture demand. So regular players can't get these cards, driving the price up.
And like the beers with diamonds.
Exactly, right. If they released all the diamonds, they would be worthless.
Right, yeah.
Same thing with Magic cards. So there are people that buy in bulk, control the demand, so that regular people, folks, can't get the cards. And hundreds of thousands of dollars are made in this way in the real world. And I would say in the Magic community, definitely thousands, tens of thousands are made just controlling demand. Wizards tries to combat it by reprinting.
Right.
But the community is always ahead. The community will always be ahead. Wizards has to reprint a card that people want. Well, it's too late. You know, by the time they reprint it, everyone will buy it. So we saw this with Modern Masters. Came out, supposed to be $150 a box. It was $300 a box immediately. So, there's that is very real.
There's something rotten in Denmark in that respect, huh?
Absolutely.
Now, that's interesting because I did not know. I had heard some rumors, but I wanted to have an actual expert confirm that there is some sort of, dare I call them a cartel?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And even the very people that sell the cards. So there's these private people that do it, but the people we all buy our cards from do it too. But they don't tell you that.
Ah, I see.
So your local card shop, they're hoarding cards. Your big online outlets, they're hoarding cards, driving up prices. You start to see weird things happen. Like a card will go out of stock for no reason.
Okay, yeah.
Why'd that happen? Well, 2 weeks later they have 1 million in stock and they're 3 times the price.
Ah.
So that's what you see happening in my world, in the collectible market. Large purchases, creating demand, making money that way.
And
so very similar to
yeah.
Illuminati in a lot of ways.
That's a conspiracy fact, too.
That is
right?
fact, yeah,
that is
absolutely.
Not just your theory.
No, I know this for a fact, yeah.
Wow. So there we have it, a real conspiracy within the world of Magic the Gathering, which a lot of people probably suspect, but maybe haven't had confirmed before.
Yeah. The casual player, certainly. The casual player sees the results, not, they're like, why can't I get this card?
Yeah.
It's not just because it's not around. It's because people are actively making it not around.
At this part, as always, we'd like to hear from you. What are your opinions of any conspiracies in board games? Do you think there is something to the theories about the Illuminati board game? And Jeremy, at this point, I'd like to ask where we can see more of you on the internet.
Well, you can find me at youtube.com/MTG Headquarters. And most specifically, we unbox and go through a lot of the cards in here if you want to get a closer look. Some of the dice, I talk a little bit about how to win, how to play the game, talk about the currency of the game, all sorts of things like that. Kind of my forte on the channel. I also look at a lot of other board games on top of just Magic the Gathering, including Munchkin, which is another really popular Steve Jackson game. And so, if you're into that kind of stuff, at least check it out. At least check out the unboxing of this video because, the unboxing of this product, because it's really interesting stuff in there.
Well, fun fact, this game is inspired by an excellent book called the Illuminatus Trilogy. If you were all interested in these sorts of stories, I recommend you check it out. Matt and I recommend that you check out Jeremy's channel. As always, we'll be coming at you with a new video later this week about conspiracies in the gaming world and a little extra surprise. Health food stores.
I knew it.
Those monsters.
Yeah, international cocaine smugglers.
Right. Clone arrangers, which I guess is different from clone creators.
Oh, yeah, it must be. Yeah. Not related much to the robot sea monsters that I have here.
There's a tenuous connection. Congressional wives.
Look at this one.
Let's stop there.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
No.
Thanks for coming up.
Yeah.